Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. I am Barbara. If you're new here, welcome to our Gardener's Journey homestead. And today we're in the kitchen making tortillas. Y'all, tune in, lock in, get you something to drink, take some notes. You want to watch this video. Look, y'all, I'm in my bread making kitchen era. Like, I'm telling you, since I have learned the skill of bread making, I'm unstoppable. I'm in this kitchen testing, trying something all the time. So let me calm down. Let me calm down because I'm excited, okay? I am so excited to show you how easy it is to make tortillas. Now, you may already know. You may be ahead of the game or ahead of me, but now that I have found out, I must tell everyone that I know. So we are going to make tortillas today. I made them for the first time. Well, one of the recipes I made for the first time last week. The other one is brand new to me. We're gonna try today, but I'm thinking, let's do it. Let's do it. But I made tortillas last week. I made corn tortillas out of this world. And I'm like, why in the world have I been buying tortillas? Now, I know why. Convenience, didn't know how to make them, all the things. That might be why you're buying them. But let me tell you, it is super, super, super easy to make, and I'm going to show you how. I also want to say at the front of this video, if you have not signed up for my sourdough workshop, I want to encourage you to sign up. So the first recipe we're going to be making today are sourdough flour tortillas. This is the one that I have not made before, but we're going to try it and do it together. I think we can do it. And I want to encourage you, if you want to learn sourdough, to sign up for my workshop. It is Sunday, September the 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. It is online virtual. That means anybody can take it. And if you are not available on that day at that time, you will get the replay. Everybody will get the full replay. So if you're not available at that specific time, I understand. But if you still want to learn sourdough, you'll get the full replay. I'm also going to be giving you a dehydrated sourdough starter that I'm going to send in the mail to you. So if you don't have a starter, I will show you how to make your own. But if you don't want to make your own, I'm going to send you one to get started without delay. Also, you will get a digital guide that's going to have recipes in it. It's going to have the sourdough terminology. It's going to show you how to do things so that if you forget during the class or you need a quick reference, that digital guide is going to have all the things in it that you need for sourdough. This is a beginner-friendly workshop. So if you have never, ever done sourdough before, but you want somebody to walk you by the hand, take you by the hand, then you want to sign up for the sourdough workshop. I'm going to put the link down in my description below. It should be the first link. It goes to our website, to our events page, and you will be able to take it. Now, let's get into these sourdough flour tortillas. Now, I want to say up front, now, buying tortillas in the store, they're not super expensive, right? And I used to get mine, or I have gotten mine in the past from Azure Standard, which are really, really good. I put them in the freezer. They taste great. So I am not necessarily knocking that the ones in the store, well, the ones in the store don't taste that great. Let's be honest. The ones from Azure Standard definitely taste better. And overall, I would say you could probably get a pack of tortillas for $5 or so. So that's not super expensive, but you can make them a lot cheaper and they're going to taste better. Anything that you make with your own hands in your own kitchen from scratch is going to taste better. So let's get into these sourdough flour tortillas, okay? So I'm starting with an active starter. Active sourdough starter, so you can see it is bubbly. Hopefully you can see that there. And the reason why I'm doing this today is because I'm also in the process of making English muffins, which I've already done a video about that. If you have not seen how to do sourdough English muffins, it'll change your life. I'm now making them every single week. Every single week. So I have that going, and I had some active sourdough starter left. So that's why I decided to try this recipe while I was waiting on that to rise. I have my scale and I have a bowl. So I have my recipe here. So we are going to start with a half a cup of sourdough starter. Now, normally you're doing sourdough in grams. This particular recipe is not in grams, which is fine. But we need a half of a cup measure. Let me see if I have a half a cup in here. Yes, I do. So I'm just going to measure 1/2 cup. And I'm gonna pour that in my bowl. Okay. Okay, so 1/4 cup of warm water. And what else does it say? 1, 2. Okay, so we have our sourdough starter, our oil, and our water. So then next we're gonna add in our salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Don't forget the salt. I've been baking a lot. I would say out of baking 50 things, I've only forgot it like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I think 2. Y'all, I need my glasses. Hard to see. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And I think I'm gonna have just enough flour. I have more flour. I just gotta go out there and get it, but we got enough for this. So now we're just gonna mix it all together. I'm checking my recipe one more time. 2 cups of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of sourdough, 1/4 cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of oil. And I am just mixing this together. You can see what it looks like. And I can tell, and this is what I'm so proud of, that I can tell it needs a little bit more water, just a little bit, because I can tell the dough is too shaggy and it's not gonna form if we don't have more water. And the reason why I'm so glad that I can tell is because since I've been working with dough and making bread, I'm gonna add a tinge more. I can tell and I know what it's supposed to look like in order to be able to form a dough. And before, I didn't know that. I would have just been doing the recipe saying, I did it exactly like what it said, it's not working. And then get frustrated and not know what to do next. So you can tell it's becoming into a dough. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. And again, I feel very comfortable adding more than what the recipe says because I know in order to form a dough, it has to be a certain consistency. Also, I know that as you're doing baking, whether you're baking with yeast or sourdough, the temperature of your house has a lot to do with your bread making. So if your house tends to run a bit cooler, sometimes you need a little bit more water, you may need more flour. But once you understand dough and baking, all of that starts to come together and you kind of know what to do. So this is coming into a ball. You can see that there. It was never going to be a ball with the first consistency that I had. So then we're going to take this and we're going to knead it for about 5 minutes. So let me get my mat and I'll be right back. Now, this is where I feel like I need more practice, and that is kneading or knowing how to do it, right? Because most of the time I'm using my KitchenAid. And I'm not using my hands. So I don't have very much practice with kneading, but this is how you learn. And as you guys are watching me, I'm sure you can give me some pointers because this part I'm not necessarily sure that I'm doing right. I know that you're supposed to roll it, with the palm of your hand, but I can tell that the texture of the dough is changing. So I know enough to know that the texture should change or whatever, the more that you keep kneading. So one of the things, again, I want to tell you what I call my bread story. And that is, and like while I'm doing that, the dough is getting softer and softer. I'm gonna get a little bit more flour and just spread it around. So my bread story is this. I wanted to learn how to make homemade bread, I would say probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I was very intimidated and I could not figure it out. And so over 7 or 8 years, I tried many things. My husband bought me a bread maker first. I tried that. You would think that's the easy button. Could not get it right. And I don't know that I had the best recipe. You know, I had people, my friends tell me, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And this is all yeast bread, not sourdough. You know, they would be telling me a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Whole 9 yards, right? Hold on one second. So, okay, so the dough is feeling tight. So I think, and it's a little bit more smooth. So we'll keep going just a little bit and see if we can get it a little bit more smooth, because it says it should be smooth and elastic. And when you're kneading, you're working with the gluten proteins in the flour. I do know that. And I think you're trying to get them to relax. Because I do sourdough and yeast, sometimes I get confused. Because in sourdough, there's this distinct process where you're trying to get the gluten to relax. And you do that through your stretch and folds and lifting and all of that. So you can see it is definitely smooth. So we're gonna pop this back in our bowl and we're gonna cover it for 4 to 6 hours. So let me get a towel to cover them on, come back and tell you my bread story. Okay, so in terms of my bread story, I wanted to learn how to bake bread. It's been 7 or 8 years ago. I know that for a fact because I've been in Tennessee now for 5 years. And this journey started when I lived in Birmingham. I wanted to learn how to make bread. My husband bought me a bread maker for some holiday. It might have been Christmas, my birthday, anniversary. I don't remember. But he bought me a bread maker because he knew that I wanted to learn how to make bread. And y'all, I could not get it right. Again, I was telling you, I was asking people for recipes. I couldn't get exact recipes. It was like, you know, flour, you know, do this, do that. You know, I had good recipes I would put in the bread maker and something was always off. So either my taste was good and the texture was off, or the texture was good and the taste was off. Like I just wasn't pleased. It just wasn't good. I threw away a lot of loaves. Now I was not making it consistently. So, I mean, let's just say, you know, year 1, I might have tried 2 or 3 times. Year 2, I might have tried 2 or 3 times. So it wasn't like I was trying every week. It's like I would try, nothing happened. Somebody else would tell me, oh, try this recipe. And oh, girl, it's easy. I try again. And that went on for like the first couple of years. And I kind of was just I felt defeated. I felt frustrated. And I just kind of put it down for, I don't know. I don't even remember how long. But it was probably a while before I did it again. So I would just say probably a couple of years maybe, or a year or so. Well, we went to England, Europe, we were there. And this lady, we went over there for a ministry trip. My husband was speaking there. We were there for like a couple of weeks. And this lady who was one of our hosts, she made fresh bread every single day. That reignited my desire to make homemade bread. She sent me home with her recipe. I tried her recipe. At this time, I still had my bread maker. And because some of her, it was the same ingredients, but I think they call it strong flour. And then she used lecithin. It was a different kind of recipe. But anyway, I was trying to get these ingredients that she had because I wanted it to taste just like hers. Because I just fell in love all over again. And my husband is like, he thinks bread is like a food group. He loves bread. I came home, I tried it again, I could not get it. I'm like, for the life of me. And then I started trying to make rolls. And I'm like, if I can't make a sandwich loaf, how am I gonna make rolls? Because to me, rolls are advanced. To me, a sandwich loaf is the basic of bread making. Fast forward, about 3.5 years ago, I started hearing about sourdough. And so I started with sourdough, which to most people, sourdough is way more challenging than yeast bread. And I would say it is. But I made my own sourdough starter and I got it right on the second try. And really the first try, I had just used the wrong flour. I got it right on the second try and I was confident. I was like, man, I made a sourdough starter. And so then I tried a basic sourdough sandwich loaf. And my first one, it rose, it was pretty, and it tasted good. I'm like, I just made my first loaf of bread. Oh my goodness. And so fast forward, I perfected the sandwich loaf, and then I started venturing out to other recipes. I have like 2 or 3 different types of recipes that I do now for sourdough sandwich loaf bread. They all are good. Some are for just 1 loaf, some are for 2. So I just pick and choose whatever I want depending on what's going on. So I got that down. I'm like, great. That was like 3 years ago. So that built my confidence back up in terms of making bread. So then I tried yeast sandwich bread, and I finally got that. My confidence went up some more. Fast forward now, I feel very confident. I make bread for my family every single week. I am confident. It tastes good. Ain't no loaves going in the trash, except the 2 where I forgot the salt. And so now I have started venturing. In the past, I would say 6 months, I've started venturing into other things, making rolls, making focaccia, making English muffins. I made bagels 2 weeks. Y'all, I didn't tell y'all I made bagels. I'm going to make bagels. I'm going to do a video on it. Super, super easy. They tasted amazing. I say all that to say, again, 7 years ago, I had the desire that I wanted to learn how to make bread, and I felt so overwhelmed, so intimidated. I could not just get a recipe that worked, or for somebody to just take me by the hand. I am the kind of learner that I need to see it, feel it, give me specific instructions for the first time. Once I get it one time, then I feel more comfortable to branch out. But if it's something new that I have never done before, I need specifics. Like, don't tell me, oh, I think it's a cup and a half. No, tell me it's a cup and a half and level it off. Like, that's what I need. Now, everybody's not like that, right? But to begin, I'm like that. And then from there, I'm good. I can maneuver. I can do all the things that I need to do. I say all that to say, if you have a yearning in your heart to learn how to bake bread, I want to tell you it's possible. If you don't know how to do it and you feel like it's so hard, I want to tell you it's not. You can do it, especially if you want to learn sourdough. That's why I'm doing this workshop, Beginner Friendly Sourdough Baking 101, because you have to start somewhere. And again, y'all, I offer stuff that I wish I could have found when I was trying to learn. So you notice in this community, I try to take a very simple approach to teach somebody as if it's the first time they are hearing it. I may not always be successful, but that is my goal and that is my hope. That's my bread story. So when you see me excited and hype in my kitchen because I can make bread, it is because I'm not going to cry. It's because I desperately wanted to learn. And now, 7 years later, I am learning, but I know how to do some things to have bread for my family. And it feels really, really good. And the taste is amazing. So maybe bread is not your thing. Maybe it's something else. I just want to say, whatever it is that you want to learn, that you feel so intimidated by, just keep trying. Keep watching YouTube. Keep asking. Get somebody to come over to your house. Go to their house. Do whatever you have to do to learn the skill. To me, bread making is one of the best skills I have learned in the last 3 years, because if you can do bread and you're comfortable with flour and dough, you can make a ton of stuff, right? Cinnamon rolls, naan, flatbread, pizza, English muffins, bagels. I mean, y'all, that's a lot. Okay. I know y'all did not tune in for a bread lecture. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I have that resting. I'm going to check it at the 4-hour mark to see if it's doubled. And if so, we'll go ahead and make the flour tortillas. But while we are waiting on that, I think I'm going to go ahead and show you how easy it is to make these corn tortillas. When I say easy, it is 2 ingredients, masa harana and water. 2 ingredients. Let me go get the masa harana, a bowl. Let me show you how easy it is. Okay, let's make our corn tortillas. So I'm using this organic masa harina flour, white corn. And it's by King Arthur. You can buy from King Arthur or you can get it on Amazon. I think it's linked in my Amazon shop. But you can get this, and it is 2 pounds. This will last quite a while. Plus, I got 2 bags at the same time. So all we need are 2.5 cups of this. And it's actually 3 ingredients. You gotta add a pinch of salt. Forgot that part. So 2.5. That's 2. Okay, we'll call that 2.5. And then in the instructions, I'm just following the instructions on the back of the package. That's what I did the first time. I made these 2 weeks ago. They were fantastic. I just made this straight from the back of the package. And 1 2/3 cups of warm water. So let's see. Let's try that. And then it says a pinch, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And that's it. You just mix it together. Oh, it smells so good. It smells just like corn tortillas. So again, I can see I need a little bit more water, which I didn't put all the water in here. As soon as that water hits it, it starts to activate the smell. It smells just like fresh ground torn tortillas. And so now I'm just gonna get in here with my hands and form a ball of dough. And it says you can do this for about a minute until it's like smooth and somewhat firm. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. I had 2 cups of water in my thing, and it only calls for like a 1 2/3 cup. So now it's forming into a ball. And what I like about this recipe is that there's no resting time. You don't have to let it rise. You don't have to do anything because, y'all, let me tell you how this came to be. It's been on my list to try, and I had bought the stuff. And so one night we were having leftovers, but it wasn't enough for all 3 of us to have a good sized portion of the leftovers. So I let my husband and my son have the leftovers, and I needed something quick to eat, and I made these. I can't remember what we were having, but anyway, I made these like literally on the spur of the moment because it was just that quick. The hardest thing was me understanding how to use my tortilla press, and I'm gonna show you that. It makes it easy because I got it now. But the first time, and you can see this is just a ball, just like that. 3 ingredients, that's how easy it is. So let me get my tortilla press, and I'm gonna show you just how easy this is. Okay, I got my tortilla press out. Do you have to use a tortilla press? No, you do not. It just makes it easy. That's the first way I did it. And I'm just dividing this dough into like 16 pieces. You don't have to do it that way. You can just pinch it off. It's just easier for me to do it this way. I think that's 8, 1, 2, 3. Yep. It's just easier for me to not have to kind of so much as guess how many or how much to break off. So that's 16. So I'm just gonna roll it into a ball like that. No rhyme or reason. They can relatively all be about the same size. Again, we're not trying to open a Mexican restaurant and, you know, have somebody measure the diameter to make sure it's the right size. It's just for the family, so I don't get too particular about it. Just rolling these into a ball. It smells so good. Like I can tell that needs more. Here, let's add it to this one. It smells so good. It smells just like freshly ground corn. You can see how quick this is gonna come together. Okay, we got all of our balls out. Now, let me get my other stuff set up because I want to kind of make like an assembly line. Okay, so this is the tortilla press. It is linked in my Amazon shop. I just did one just to, and I'm going to show you this and I'll bring you closer. But I did one. You can see what it looks like. Now, can you roll it out? Absolutely you can. I have my cast iron Let's see if you can see it. Let me close this down. I have my cast iron skillet preheating. I have a dish with a towel to put the tortillas in after they come out to keep them warm and also to soften them. I did order me a tortilla warmer, like the things that you see, the round things. I did order me one of those. It is on the way, but we're going to use this for today because that's the mistake I made. But they were still good. They weren't as soft as they probably could have been because I didn't put them in a warm towel. I took them from the griddle, put my food in there, and I was eating it as I went. It was so good. Okay, so this is heating up right here. It may not be hot enough, but let's just try the first one that I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this. Okay, this one I probably did too thin because I can see that it's falling apart. Okay, so I'm gonna take one of these balls. I have a piece of parchment paper that I'm gonna lay on here, and then these pre-cut came with the tortilla press. I put another piece of parchment paper, and then I'm gonna press. You can kind of see what it looks like. It can tend to get thicker on one side than another, but this one seems to be okay. Okay. Then I have it in the skillet. Let's do another one while that is cooking up. This is only my second time, so I gotta get into the rhythm of how to do it. So you can see how that looks pretty much perfectly round. Let me turn this over. This one is not as perfectly round as I would like it, but so you can see it's still, you can still eat it. Now, ideally what I want to get next is, I don't have a griddle. I had a griddle years ago and I never really used it. And so I gave it away, but I'm thinking a griddle will be the perfect application because then I can do multiple at one time. I really can't fit another one in, even in this skillet, this cast iron skillet, but I think getting a cast iron griddle would be ideal. So you can kind of see what it looks like. I'm gonna put it in there. I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'll show you one more time. Well, let's put this one in here and then we'll. Now I wonder if, again, only my second time doing this. I see that one broke. I didn't have any break the first time. So I wonder if, I don't think I did anything different. I think my ratios are good. Let's press. See how that came off like that? I don't know what's causing that because it's parchment paper. It shouldn't be sticking, but otherwise that would have been a perfect circle. But it's trial and error. I don't know why it tore. But I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep pressing them out. I'm gonna show you the final result and see if I can figure out why it's doing that. It didn't do that the first time, but hey, that's what's happening. But we can still eat it. But I'm gonna get it and I'll show you and I'll bring you back. Okay, y'all, all done. Here is what they look like. I think they look good. They smell good. So I feel like I got it right on the very last one. But look, you can see how pliable that is. Let's taste test. This is a piece that, that is so good. So very good. I'm tearing off this piece. This is some homemade salsa. We did this together this summer. I got this out of the freezer the other day. Let's just, that is so good. This is what we having for dinner tonight. That wasn't necessarily the plan. That's the plan now. So good. Woo! so good. I might as well just go eat this one because I broke this piece off. Look, it's corn tortillas. You can see how soft it is. Y'all, this is so easy. The hardest part, actually, the hardest part, the part that takes the longest is just frying them up. Let me get, so that I don't keep dipping in this salsa. Let me get some, y'all, these taste like fresh tomatoes. Why? Because we use fresh tomatoes. If you did not see my freezer roasted salsa recipe, go back and get that video. Now, if you still got tomatoes. This ain't nothing but salsa and corn tortilla. I wish that you could try this with me. This is so good. Y'all saw how easy that was. No waiting, no rising. Now you know it's good. It's good if I'm eating it plain with some salsa. Once I put all the stuff in it, that's gonna make a real good tortilla. Look at that. And oh, I was saying, this is what I was saying. Well, the towel definitely helped. I didn't do that the last time. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I never made them before. And I've seen people have a tortilla warmer, but in my mind, I didn't have a tortilla warmer, so I didn't even think to put them in a towel. That made them more soft and pliable. Mine were a bit more stiff. Still tasted good. And again, I put the toppings in there, so it didn't matter. But I feel like I got the right shape, the right size near the end. Again, this is only my second time. But the reason why some of them broke apart, like on the end, I had rolled it too thin. So I probably needed to make my ball a little bit bigger versus smaller. So when you roll it out, it can be a little bit thicker. But you can play around with that, get it however you want it. The tortilla press I have is an 8-inch. They come in 8, 10, and 12. I wanted something small, one, because I got a lot of gadgets and I didn't want to have to create a whole lot of space. 2, I like mine small. That's just a personal preference. Even when I'm eating flour tortillas, I don't like the big, I never buy the big burrito size. Like, I just don't like that. I might want a burrito with the fillings and make it like a burrito, but I want it small. Personal preference. So if you don't have a tortilla press and you want to get one and you don't want yours as small as mine, then just, you know, get you a bigger one, a 10 or a 12-inch. But this is an 8-inch. It's linked in my Amazon shop. I think it was $19.99, like very affordable. If it's not $19.99, it was $29.99. And I think it just goes up $10 each size you get. But it definitely wasn't more than $29.99. If you want one, just go to my Amazon shop and it's linked under kitchen items. So y'all, we got our corn tortillas done. So this is enough for dinner for sure. I think I have 14 easily. Look at that, y'all. Do you see that? Ah, so good. It smells so good. So we have those done, and then we got our flour tortillas percolating. And the nice thing about these, the flour tortillas, I should be able to freeze them. That's what everybody says. I've never done it before, so we're going to see. I'm assuming I can freeze these too, but these probably not going to make it to the freezer. And it'll be interesting to see which one I like best, because I've never had a homemade flour tortilla. So it'll be interesting to see how much different it tastes than that old Mission brand that you find in the store, that old raggedy. I need to quit because I done bought a lot of Mission tortillas. Let me quit talking about them because I have spent my money on them. So let me just retract. But it'll be interesting to see how better those taste than what you buy in the store and what we like better. And then you can freeze those. So literally you can take a day, make them up, put them in the freezer. That way you have them when you need them. And if nothing else, it doesn't mean that you can't go buy tortillas. It means that you have the skill to do it yourself. So if worse come to worse, if we have another demic, you know, put whatever you want on the front of it. If we have another famine, shortage, whatever the case may be, if you got some flour and some water and some salt and whatever else we put in there. I don't even remember now. I think it was, maybe, was it sugar? Anyway, things that you normally keep on hand, you can make your own tortillas and make your family a meal. That's how you become self-sufficient and start to introduce sustainable practices. Okay, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna meet you back here when it's time to roll out those tortillas. I'm gonna check back in at the 4-hour mark and see if they're ready for us to do, and I will bring you along. Okay guys, it's been 5 hours. My dough has doubled. That is what it looks like. So looking good and soft. Looks very good. So now we're going to shape it into balls. Now for this, I'm just gonna take a pinch of it and roll it into a ball. That's probably too small. So let me take a bigger piece. Yeah, that's probably maybe the right size. Now, I am going to try something that I think is unconventional. Most people use a tortilla press for corn tortillas, but you don't ever see them use it for flour tortillas. Why? I don't know, but I'm about to find out. Because if I can do it on the flour tortilla, and I think I read somewhere that they said the shape may not hold together, but y'all know me. I'm a rebel. Not a rebel. I just like to try things for myself, just so I know. And if it doesn't work, I got my rolling pin ready for action. Let's just see if it works, y'all. Let's just see if it works. Look like it's working to me. And it probably doesn't need to be too thin. Okay. To me, that works. Okay. So what I didn't do was, let me turn my oven on. My skillet on and heat my skillet. Okay, I'm gonna keep making balls, and then we're gonna come back and fry one that I pressed, and we're gonna see if it works. Okay, y'all, it made 8 balls. So this is the one that I did with the press. We are going to do this one first, and then I rolled out this one with the rolling pin. I'm gonna see if there is a difference between them. The one that I did with the press is a little bit thicker, but you can kind of see the thickness level. This is a little bit thinner on one side, but I just need to know for myself. Now this one is very small because the first piece that I did was kind of small, but we're gonna see what happens. Now, I know sometimes when you do tortillas that it puffs up with that big air bubble. I think that might be signature, like you're supposed to get that. I don't know. I did get that on a couple of my corn tortillas, but not on all of them. And I don't know what causes it to do that. So if you guys are watching and you're like authentic, like you know that you know how to make tortillas, y'all let me know if I'm doing anything wrong, okay? Now this is probably thicker than it should be. Definitely. Just in terms of it's not as thin as a normal tortilla. But this is what it looks like. I'm gonna put it in, we got a new dish. Now, I'm gonna do this one that I rolled out. It's a little bit thinner. We're gonna see how that one. Yeah, I like to not push limits. I just like to know for myself. Like, I'm like, I got this press. It works good. How come I can't use it for flour tortillas? It certainly didn't stick. So that can't be the reason. And I believe I could have gotten it thinner. Definitely, I just didn't press it as thin. I think I definitely need thinner. So I'm gonna try another one with the press. Put it in the center and see if I can get it thinner. And that's bigger. Let's see. Okay, so you can see how that one looks. Okay. These look a little bit thicker, and it almost looks like It's almost like thick like a pita bread. So I know we don't want it like that. This is much thinner like a regular tortilla. So let's see how this one fries up. Let's see if we can get it off. And this is the same paper I used before, so it may be a little worn out, but. Okay, y'all, this is the moment of truth. I have one of the flour tortillas. We're gonna taste it, and then I'm gonna tell you and show you what they look like. So I'm putting some, we'll put a couple of these on here. I got tomatoes on here, cheese, and I got like some fajita veggie steak. So that's what it looks like. Now, what I don't have is like sour cream and all that, but we're gonna just rock with it. It's hot. Now, let's see how this, okay, it folded, so that's good. Y'all, that's good. Now, it is so soft. So I need some sour cream, some green onions. That is good. So good. Let me finish this. I'm gonna come right back. Y'all, I cannot even begin to express to you how good this is. Let me show you what they look like. That's what they look like. Now, let's talk about it. Because I'm gonna have to let y'all go so I can eat. I had to go off camera. I had to be able to enjoy that without trying to talk and just get indecent. Okay, let me give you a review. We made this with our own hands, y'all. That is a game changer. Okay, when I tell you it is so soft, it is like pillowy soft. It's not tough at all. Whether or not it's supposed to be that way, I don't know. But when you get flour tortillas in the store, they have more chew. So again, I don't think soft is a bad thing, but they are pillowy soft. They're not necessarily the shape of what I thought. You know how a flour tortilla, it is round. It's really, really, like these are pliable. You saw that I was able to bend it, for sure. But they're not, I didn't get necessarily the shape right. Well, when I hold it up, it actually doesn't look that bad. It does look like a circle. Oh, it's hot. It's a little bit thicker. And so I think with that, I need to get my rolling technique or my pressing technique. And I don't see a difference in terms of the press versus the roll. Now, the one that I just bit into and did, that was a rolled one. And I was able to get it a little bit thinner. But either way, the pressing or the rolling works. So that's good to know that. So if I'm just making flour tortillas and I don't want to use my press, I can just roll them out. This recipe made 8. So that'll be enough for like dinner. But if I wanted to batch and make these like for the freezer, I would probably triple the recipe. Because this recipe made 8. And again, you can see the size of mine. If you want burrito size flour tortillas, it's probably going to make 4. You know, if you're following this recipe. Again, I don't like those that big and my press is not that big. Now, obviously, rolling it out, I could get it that big, but I would have to take off bigger chunks, if that makes sense. But this is the perfect size for me. That's what I like. I could probably eat 2 or 3 of these for dinner and it'd be just fine. And again, if you wanted to serve it with sides, you could have like Mexican rice. You could have like a Mexican corn. You could do chips and salsa on the side. Like you can make this as big as you want to make it. or you can make it as simple as you want to make it. Tonight, it's going to be simple because this wasn't even my dinner plan. Like, I wasn't even cooking tonight. But when I start, you know, in the kitchen, I'm like, that's good. So, y'all, we got flour tortillas and we got corn tortillas. Now, I didn't try the corn tortillas with the stuff. I'll get one of those, but I had them last week and they were good. The only thing that's going to be better is that they're going to be soft versus a little bit more stiff than when I had them, not last week, but 2 weeks ago. And I'm trying to think which one I like the best. I'm really surprised at these flour tortillas, like very surprised. So in terms of the review, they're pillowy soft. The taste is like a pure taste. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just pure and clean. It tastes fresh. It might could use just a little bit more salt, but it doesn't have to. When I said almost doesn't have a taste, what I mean is it's just like a pure fresh taste. It's the best way I know how to describe it. But y'all, I'm impressed. And we made it in the kitchen. Y'all saw me? Simple ingredients. We know what the ingredients are. We can pronounce them. We know what they are. What was it? Water, flour. I mean, yeah, you saw it. You saw it. So y'all, we did it. We made homemade corn and flour tortillas in the kitchen. Now, obviously the corn tortillas are the quick and easy because it doesn't have to rise. But this right here, the sourdough flour tortillas, only took 4 to 5 hours to rise. Obviously, if you're doing yeast tortillas, it probably only has to take maybe 1 or 2 hours, if I had to guess. Haven't made. And so I will try yeast flour tortillas to see if there's a difference in taste. Like, this doesn't taste real sourdoughy, but I don't do my sourdough like that anyway. Like, I don't necessarily like the tang of sourdough. I know, go figure. All right, some people want it really, really sour. I personally don't like that, but I know how to make my sourdough, and I will teach you in the class if you come to the workshop. If you don't like the sourdough taste, but you want the health benefits of sourdough, which is what I want, then I know how to make mine to where it doesn't have that extreme sour taste. Those don't taste sour at all. It tastes like just a fresh, homemade flour tortilla. I'm blown away. I am blown away. And y'all, basically, this is a homemade meal. The tomatoes, these are the last tomatoes I have in my house that are fresh from the garden. These are our onions that we pickled, red onions that we pickled. This is salsa that we made ourselves. So y'all, and then we made the tortillas. The only thing we didn't make was the cheese and the meat, the steak, the veggie steak meat. Yeah, the peppers that went into the fajita steak, our peppers. So this is pretty much an 80% homegrown meal that was quick and easy. You can eat it with safety and security, knowing exactly what's in it, knowing that it does not have any preservatives. It doesn't have any like strange monosodium, blah, 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 blah. Fresh, homemade ingredients. I'm so excited. Definitely try either one or both. One or both. It's a game changer. Take a weekend when, you know, especially coming up this fall, things tend to slow down. The possibilities are endless. So mark this video, save it, share it with your friend. Make sure that you put this in your rotation to make this fall and winter. And I want to know when you do, let me know how it turns out and let me know if you like it. Y'all, thank you for meeting me in the kitchen. I appreciate you. If you have not subscribed to my channel, come on and subscribe because we're doing good things over here, okay? We're doing good things. I cannot wait to see you next time. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together.